Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dr. Quack podcast. This is my Valentine's Day special edition here. I know we got 2 days, but I always got to do it a little early because I am always so pumped for Valentine's Day. Let me tell you, I have the most beautiful woman in the world, and I get to claim her as my Valentine. I feel like a lucky man. I love you, Bridget. Also, want to say shout out to Otis over here, getting ready to go on his date with Mandy Rose here this Friday night on SmackDown. I'm telling you, tune into that. That is my boy. Yeah, go ahead, Otis. Always share time with the ones you love. And life is really good when you have that in your life. Gotta say that she makes me happy. And I think I make her happy too most of the time. That's what love does. So anyways, I'm going to move on here because I got a lot of stuff to cover today. And I'm going to tell you the first thing I really want to cover. The XFL. Yeah, let me tell you, I've been pumped for this for well over a year now. Since they announced it, when they said they were coming back, I've been excited. I have just been in anticipation, mind blown, just ready to see what was going to happen. And I got to tell you, I was not disappointed. I really was not. I mean, I love the rule changes. Let me talk about that. I'm going to talk about the likes here of me for this. I love the fact that we have the double pass in the NFL. I'm sorry. Wrong one. XFL. Because the NFL needs to learn to adapt to some of these rules. These are great rules. In case you don't know, in the NFL, you have the lateral backwards for it to be a forward pass from a second person. Now, in the XFL, you can lateral forward as long as you're behind the line of scrimmage and throw the ball for a double pass. Also, what I really liked too was the kickoffs. Kickoff is a great thing. I mean, you're talking about now safety for players not getting hurt because there's only two people that can move. The kicker and the receiving team member. The returner. You think about that. Everybody else has to stand at the 30 and 35 yard line respectively and wait either 3 seconds or the receiving team has the ball. It makes for, a much more safer, scenario. Nobody's getting hurt on kickoffs and stuff like that. And it also helps out with the game. It moves the game along. I love the fact on the punts, if you try to coffin corner a punt, sorry, Sam Cook, I know you're the master at that, but in the XFL, if you coffin corner it, it goes to the 35 still. And that's something I saw. You look at King over there who was punting. He managed to get that ball to stop at the 2 yard line in the middle of the field. That's impressive. I mean, that's really impressive. That's something that I think NFL scouts should look at when it comes to him particularly. But, I mean, just so many different rule changes. There's no extra points. When you score a touchdown, there's no kicker kicking the extra point from 35 yards away for 1 point instead of it being a field goal. Now you got options. Now you go from the 2, the 5, or the 10 for 1, 2, or 3 points. I mean, let's say you're down by 6. Or let's say you're down by 8, right? And you score that touchdown, that's 6. You can actually go for the lead from the 10-yard line and take a 1 point lead. It's all going to be strategy on that. I love it. The hard hitting. If you watch these games, you were probably very satisfied with that. If you loved hard-hitting smash-mouth football, this was definitely a league that's going to have that. You got a lot of players that are hungry, a lot of players that want to go up to the NFL. And yes, the NFL is bigger than the XFL right now for sure. Could that change? I think so. I think the NFL almost has to adapt. They don't have a choice on this. Troy Aikman was there and even enjoyed himself. There is your NFL Hall of Famer watching on the sidelines for the Dallas Renegades, which I kind of want to get into that. They were projected by Vegas to win the whole XFL championship because of Landry Jones. Landry Jones missed last game. Philip Nelson came in. And yeah, he kind of stunk up the joint. I mean, defensively, Dallas really looked really good. You know, the Renegades, they looked really well. It'll be interesting to see how they do against the Wildcats. I picked a team. I picked Dallas because I love the logo. And Landry Jones, who again, yes, game 2 has just been told he will be the third emergency quarterback. He will not be starting this game. So it'll be interesting to see if Philip Nelson can actually do something here. You know, but overall, the XFL to me was well worth watching. And I had people tell me, oh, not a lot of people are going to watch this. It's junk. It's Vince McMahon running stuff here. No. This is legit football. I love it. It's semi-pro, but it's a little better because this is pretty much almost like the NXT in WWE. This is your developmentals. Because I guarantee you there's going to be players that played in these games this week. The NFL teams are going to be looking at it. They're going to go, you know, we could use a guy like that. We could bring him to training camp in the summer. We might start him. This is going to open up a whole new avenue, you know. And if the XFL gets bigger, then you're looking at real competition. That's what I'm hoping here. Because, frankly, I know I'm not in the minority on this. The NFL has gotten boring. The NFL does nothing but throw flags for every little thing. There was a meme I saw. This stick right here, the NFL rulebook. This stick right here, the XFL rulebook. A lot less rules. It adds for great gameplay. You're not going to have a 4-hour game because everybody wants to pass. Then we got commercials. Then we got this, 2-minute warning, da-da-da-da. XFL game's going to last you about 2 hours. And they have 8 teams, you know, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Everybody's enjoying it. It's like a playoff fever. It's like a college football fever, I've heard a lot of people say. And yes, the crowds, okay, they didn't fill the stadiums. Not all of them. But I will tell you what, they said they had 3.2 million viewers on the first game. 3.2 million viewers on the first game. That equates really to SmackDown ratings. And SmackDown, the 3.2 million homes are being reached. I'm sure Fox is happy on that. I'm sure ESPN is happy on that. This league's going to stay around for a long time. I want to get to the bad here. The other bad. Pepper Johnson, defensive coordinator for the Wildcats, after one game, gets fired. And honestly, if you listen to all the media, nobody has an answer why. I mean, you brung this guy on, Pepper Johnson, you know, he has a good track record. After one game, they fired him. I mean, you used to give coaches a couple years. You know, now it's went down to a year. Sometimes even mid-season. Now a game? A game? Really? I mean, what's going to happen next? Are we going to fire people during halftime? First series doesn't go well. Do you fire a coach then? I mean, pregame warm-ups. Oh, you didn't stretch them good enough. You're fired. Really? Who does that? That is insane. I don't really like the move. There had to have been something more than just the performance. Granted, I know the Wildcats sucked. But there had to be something more than just the performance for that reason. I can't wait until it comes out on that. I really want to hear more. What happened and why he got fired. That was my bad. Here's the ugly. And I don't like to mention too much about this gentleman on my podcast because it's just an ongoing story for years. Colin Kaepernick, you know, had the opportunity to play in the XFL. But his salary demands were astronomical. Dude, it's not the NFL. It's the XFL. These guys are trying to get to the NFL. You're supposedly trying to get to the NFL to be a starting quarterback. That's what you've been bitching about for years. This was a chance. You know? People act like, oh, you can't play in the minor leagues and go start in the pros. You know, I'm going to take you back to Warren Moon there. Played in the Canadian Football League. Got to go play with the Houston Oilers. It does happen. But you have to prove to teams that you are worth picking up. And not being such a media circus. There's only one owner that likes that. Jerry Jones. Everybody else kind of hates that fucking media circus. This is my point. If you want to play in the league, give it a shot. Go play in the XFL. Earn your keep. That's my point here, folks. Why is he not earning his keep? I get what he's standing for, and I don't have a problem with that. But if you really want to play in the league, show him. Show him. That's what you have to do. So now, let me tell you, XFL, that was a great weekend. But I'm going to move forward here. We're talking about the Raw recap, WWE. Certain things in professional wrestling tend to piss me off. Certain things. One of them is whenever we start a show on Raw or SmackDown, 99% of the time, somebody's got to go out and talk for 10, 15 minutes. This week, of course, it's, Rollins and the boys. And then you got to have Owens and the boys. I'm sorry. This storyline here is not cutting it for me. I don't really care about it. It's not worth watching, in my opinion. I'm not even going to talk about the main event because I really don't care. I think the segment, I like how they're using guys. Like they're using Joe and they're using Owens. Owens finally getting a push up there, but it's falling stale. It's Seth Rollins, dude. God, how many times have we seen this story? He's got a gang. How many more times we got to see this story? Just not impressed with it. It is bad when the women's division is looking, I'd say, 10 times better than the men's. For the most part, outside of your elite guys. And some of those elite guys are starting to come stale. That's what I'm saying. Becky Lynch just walks out there after their whole promo cut, being the man. Oh, God. And everybody walks away. That really demonstrates how much dominance the women's division has. And, they had a great match, her and Asuka. Becky Lynch, Asuka. Yes, of course, Becky Lynch has the win. I am really hoping she drops this title soon. Just like her, Seth Rollins. They're both getting stale. WrestleMania is coming along the way I expect this to happen. Because, they had a great match. Of course, Lynch won. I was really hoping for otherwise. Really was, because I figured it was kind of a big deal. But it did have a nice setup there. Shayna Baszler came out there, attacked her from behind, and one of the greatest things you'll see, bit her in the back of the neck, pulled her hair, bit her in the back of the neck, and had blood all over her face. Yes, it took you back to Gangrel, I'm sure, if you watched the Attitude Era. All the blood. Granted, it was a blood capsule that kind of was drying. You could see it. But for effect, it looked good. I was okay with it. It worked out well. They're going to have a great feud, and I hope that's what we get to see at Mania. I really do. I really do. That right there is going to be worth watching. And then we move on here. 24/7 title over here. Oh, man. I got it. Street Profits. Came out and they took on Mojo Riley and Riddick Moss. I love to see the Street Profits. Believe me. they are popular. And I'm glad they did this because they got a good squash match in and, still makes them relevant. They're a good team. They're entertaining. That's the big thing I see. They're very entertaining. But of course, they squash them. Mojo goes to help up his partner. Partner small packages him and picks up the 3 count and steals the 24/7 title from his friend. I like that because that was totally unpredictable. I did not expect that to happen. I'm glad it did. I mean, that's awesome. Now we got Mojo without his belt. Gronk's best friend. Yeah, I love you, Gronk. Sorry. But, it's good to see this happen. And he ran away smiling, running down the audience and everything. It was great. MVP. Why do we got to bring MVP back? I get it. Dude, the guy was great in 06. I'm not even doubting here, okay? He was really great in 2006. I loved watching him, ballin', I'm coming, all that shit, right? He looks like, just an old man. He doesn't look like he belongs on television. Maybe as a mouthpiece, he still can talk. He sure has lost his work rate. They say he wants to be a producer, and I'm actually okay with that. I would almost say, yeah, either put him there or put him in the performance center, maybe to help some young kids. But as far as TV, just it's not the same. I know him and Drew go way back, as they said. Tried to offer him mentorship, and Drew, of course, claymored the hell out of him. That was beautiful. Something you would expect, something to make, happen. Also, let's move down the line here. Rhea Ripley. There's another talent. You talk about NXT. NXT is really producing some stars here to give competition to the stale Raw and SmackDown roster. Rhea Ripley out there, getting challenged by Sarah Logan. Charlotte Flair comes out, still can't make her decision. What else is new? I hope this goes down. That would be great. I would love to see it. It don't even have to be main event. It could just be, at WrestleMania. It could be, right on NXT. It'd be a great match. So Rhea Ripley, goes out and gets challenged by Sarah Logan. Beats the crap out of her, within seconds. It was bad. And I love Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan, very talented, underutilized. I hope she gets her push eventually. I really do. But remains to be seen if Charlotte will actually take her on. Ricochet Lashley went down the aisle. Took on each other. Ricochet, of course, got a pop-up victory. I'm proud for him. The 640 splash at the end. It looked nice. This match is basically here to tell you that he has a chance against Brock Lesnar at Super Showdown. We all know better. Even the most, naive fan knows he's got no shot in hell. He's got no shot. Brock's going to take him to Suplex City. This is going to look like John Cena at SummerSlam with him in 2014 when Brock Lesnar beat the holy hell out of him. Probably worse. But it's not going to be pretty. This is just showing that Brock Lesnar's dominance. He'll drop the belt probably to Drew. It's going to happen. But it's good to see the storyline working out the way it's supposed to. Not a big fan of the match. I would have rather seen Bobby, like I said last week. But, it's probably what you're going to see here. Now here comes the ugly. The ugly on Raw. Something I got to really talk about here. Matt Hardy came back. Matt Hardy on television after a long while. Came out there, fight Randy Orton. Randy Orton took his ass to school, whooped his ass with that chair. Everybody says that this was basically because he was in a contract dispute. That's according to the rumors. because he wants more money to come out there and do. And they're in negotiations. So WWE is generally writing him off television. Well, after that last night, according to rumors there too, from I believe the Wrestling Observer is where this came from, Matt Hardy has quit the WWE. I don't know about it. I've only seen a piece of it there, but I'm waiting to see if it's the truth. Well, I guess we'll find out later today. But I mean, it's just sad. I mean, you're going to bring back Edge. You're going to bring back Edge, and you're going to trash Matt Hardy? I mean, doesn't make sense. They would have been a great feud to have. Really would have. I mean, I like Orton and Edge. This rivalry is going to be good for WrestleMania. What kind of match are they going to have? God knows. I just hope they can make it look good. I mean, Orton, I know, is in shape. Edge, it's been a while, ring rust. But he still didn't look bad, in his Rumble debut, return. So overall, I gave Raw pretty much a B+. I thought overall it was a great show. It was a good showing. I think people loved it. There's going to be some people that hated it, and there's going to be some backlash for certain things, I'm sure. But overall, I thought it was fine. So I got a couple more things to talk about here. This is a longer one. I know, I haven't talked this long in a while. I'm going to bring up NASCAR here. The Busch Classic. Busch Clash, rather. Qualifier. I got to sit down and watch part of this before I watch the Renegades game. So I'll sit down with my family, and we watched it. And I'd never seen, and I only watched for about 20 minutes, okay? For the last 20 minutes. I'd never seen so many wrecks in a 20-minute time frame. They ended up with 6 cars. 6 cars left at the end that were able to cross the finish line. 6. I mean, it was great television to watch. Daytona 500, of course, this week coming up here. Ricky Steinhaus, he took the pole. Congratulations to him. And if you notice the top 4, Chevrolet vehicles. Pulling it up there. Always love seeing that. Everybody knows I'm a Chevy man. It's what I do. But it's crazy that, how vehicles and brands, how they all come together. I mean, you had Toyota up there too. Toyota did their thing. Ford in the middle of the pack. It's going to be interesting to see who wins. I'm taking Jimmy Johnson. You got to go with experience on this. And he's at the 4, okay? So I feel like he's going to have enough opportunity to be able to win this race. And it will not shock me. Jimmy Johnson is who I'd bet my money on. Just my opinion. So I'm going to move on to the NFL because I haven't really talked much since the Super Bowl. Since the week before the Super Bowl. Because now we're in free agency. And a lot of times, there's only 1 or 2 names that are really important. I'd say right now you have 4 of the top 10 quarterbacks out there that are right now in free agency or being talked about not being with their team. Phillip Rivers this week said he will be parting ways with the San Diego Chargers. Tom Brady's a free agent. He's been checking out Tennessee. He's been checking out Oakland. He's been checking out Dallas. Allegedly, there's that trade here with the other quarterback, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott wants his money, talking about holding out. I can't blame him. I can't. I'm not blaming him. Yes, he missed the playoffs. Could have made the playoffs. But I think he tanked it on purpose a little bit. But there's a lot of things that can happen here. Will Jerry Jones trade him and try to get Tom Brady? That would be interesting. It seems like the perfect team for him. I mean, if you're not going to be a Patriot, it seems like you might as well be a Cowboy. Just my opinion on that. Me personally, I'm paying Dak Prescott. I mean, Dak Prescott, at least you could have a couple more years with. If you're on a win now, then you trade for Brady. If you're on a win now, win this year before you retire, trade for Tom Brady. Because a few years after that, once he retires, you're gonna have to start all over. That's really what I've seen on this. But I would re-sign or franchise tag him. Why not? I mean, he's going to eventually come back to camp. Franchise tag Dak Prescott. Why not? There's a lot of options on the table. The fourth quarterback out there is Drew Brees. Drew Brees has mentioned sometime over the next month he will announce if either he is coming back or if he was retiring. I don't see him going to another team, but who are the Saints going to pick? Are they going to stick with Teddy Bridgewater? Are they going to draft a quarterback? That's something we're going to have to wait and see. I can't wait to personally see it. But, I mean, the NFL, we're getting close to draft time. We're getting close to the combine time. That's why the XFL is important here. I'm telling you, folks, you might see a couple of these guys end up on NFL teams, and it will not shock me. If Landry Jones is healthy enough, I expect him back in the league. As a backup, possibly starter, depending on how he does here. But I expect him. Just my opinion. So I got my final thought here. My favorite part. My quack attack! Actually, one thing before that. Right here. This guy's going to kill Goldberg at Super Showdown. Just want to tell you. As it says, let me in. But my quack attack. Yeah. This is my movie of the week. And everybody knows me. I love my horror movies. Okay? The one I recommend seeing, I just recently watched. Very impressed. Very. This is a no-brainer if you love horror movies. 3 from Hell. Let me tell you. In the trilogy over here of Rob Zombie movies, falling off right after The Devil's Rejects. Rest in peace, Captain Spaulding there. It's definitely a gore fest and something that if you love horror and you love Rob Zombie style movies, it's for you. And I'm telling you, it's for me. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Got down to see it. Something tells me there's going to be one more that's going to go on this whole trilogy of zombie movies. Talking about House of 1,000 Corpses, talking about Devil's Rejects, and talking about 3 from Hell. There'll be another one. 31, by the way, if you have not watched that, check that out too. That is a Rob Zombie movie, but it does not really fit in this equation here. And that's it, folks. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. I want you guys to, if you can, share this video. Just about a half hour here. I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in, and I'm out.